So this is going to be a very basic guide on Castle Wars. Castle Wars is a RuneScape minigame, which is basically RuneScape's version of Capture the Flag. So in Castle Wars, there's a Saradomin base and a Zamorak base. In the picture, you can see Saradomin base is blue, Zamorak base is red, like the rectangles, and they each have 4 floors. Their flags are located on the 4th floor. The goal is to take the enemy's flag from their 4th floor back to your 4th floor. So if you're on Saradomin, you want to go to Zamorak base, get up to their 4th floor, grab their flag, and run it all the way back to your base, up to your 4th floor, and score, and vice versa. Um, the big doors are the brown rectangle in the picture on both teams, and if you're outside of your team's base, only you can open you can only open your own team's doors. So you can't open the other team's doors. If you're talking about small doors, you can open the doors on small doors from both inside and outside of the base on both sides. It doesn't matter, but the small doors you have to pick lock the door to open them. If you're going into the enemy team's base, you have to pick lock it with your thieving level, which is really annoying. Uh, North rocks and south rocks are the two sets of rocks on ground floor that you can hop across. They have little stepping stones and you can hop across to get to the other side. Middle, the green circle, is the center of the map, and it's usually a pretty neutral zone. People fight over it, and there's 2 bridges. You can cast over the bridges, but you can't cast over these structures in the middle. The other thing is it has trapdoors to go to under, and we'll talk about under later. It seems like it would be easy to run and just grab the other team's flag and come back, but it's really not. The game is resource based, so some of the resources you can use are bandages, and what bandages do is they heal you for a percentage of your HP, and you can like eat them really fast. You can like 4 in a tick or something like that, 5 in a tick. Now this is a tinderbox spawn, so you can take a tinderbox in with you at the start of the game, and it's another resource. I'll talk about the tinderbox later in the video though. So these are the supply tables, the supply rooms. So it's just down from your spawn, right down the back ladder or down the staircase. And what you do here is you stock up the other resources, the more important ones than bandages, but bandages are still important. But the most important resources in Castle Wars is barricades. So what these do, you can take them from that table. What they do is when you set them on the ground, when you click on it in your inventory, it sets under your feet wherever you're standing. So what they do is they block your movement. So you can't like path through them, and if you want to go around them, you have to path yourself around them manually. So like, yeah, and in order to get through barricades, get through like a blockade of barricades that's like this, right? You can either bash the barricade to death, or you can blow it up with an explosive potion, which you can take the explosive potions from right here. So you can blow it up and then just run right through like that, right? Now, the other thing is both teams have a double bucket spawn here that spawns once every minute after you pick the bucket up, and you can fill the buckets at this tap, or you can use humidify. Um, what they do, actually, I should tell you what the tinderbox does first. So what the tinderbox does is it lights one of these barricades on fire, and after 6 seconds, this barricade will fall over, and it'll kill it, and you can run through, right? But the the catch is that makes this really good for defense is that when you light it on fire, that whole 6 seconds they can't explode it while it's on fire, so it just doesn't work. But the idea behind the buckets is if you fill them up with water, you can use a bucket of water to put out the fire, and then you can blow the Cade up after you put the fire out, and it's much faster than waiting the full 6 seconds for the Cade to go away. You know what I mean? Um, and yeah, that's the idea. Next, we have the rope. So what you do with the rope is, and you take the rope from the table there. What you do with the rope is you can run out to the wall just to demonstrate this. You usually use it on the other team's wall if it's really hard to get in either the small doors or the big doors. Or like break down the big doors. You have to rope the wall to get up unless you come from under, which I'll talk about later. The next thing that you can grab from the supply is the toolkit. If somebody breaks down your big doors, you can grab one of these and you can run over and just click the broken door and it'll fix it. And then you can drop it on the ground and come back and get another one later. So next thing would be, I guess, to show you where fourth floor is. So this is ground floor. This is spawn. And this is third, and this is fourth floor. And this is where your team's standard and their team's standard is on the other side of the map in their base. The bases are mirror images of each other. Also, bandages give you run energy back. I forgot to mention that, as well as HP. So this is under. When you go under, there's south tunnel and there's north tunnel, and if we run down the tunnel a little bit, you'll see these are rocks. So to get through the rocks, you have to blow the rocks up with explosive potions or mine them with a pickaxe. Usually you blow them up with explosive potions. It takes 2 explodes, one and then another one afterwards when the object changes. And if you're running through and somebody collapses it with a pickaxe or with an explode, so I can use an explode on this. And what that'll do is if you get the rock collapsed on your head and you're standing in these tiles, you just die from full HP. So yeah. So the next thing to explain about Castle Wars that's really basic that you have to understand well is the movement system. In order to explain the movement system, you have to explain the tick rate of the game. So every 600 ms, there is a game tick that renders mostly all of the actions in the game throughout the game, and it does it by going through the list of player IDs, which are called PIDs, player IDs, and they're numbered from 1 to 2000 because you can have up to 2000 people on a world, and or maybe it's 0 to 1999. I don't know. Java, you know. So basically the way that works is if there's a Cade on the ground and you click to light this on fire at the same in the same 600 millisecond interval that somebody else clicks to blow it up, the person with the lower player identification number will get the thing over you because it goes from bottom to top. So it starts like the actions process from 1 to 2 to 3, like counting all the way up to 2000. So if somebody is PID 1 and you're PID 2, they'll beat you to everything if you click it at the exact same time as them. So you don't want to do that. So keep that in mind. And every 600 milliseconds, every tick, you run 2 tiles back to the movement. So when you run in a line like this, if you want to set barricades, you can spam click the cades, and like I said, they set under where you are. So since you run every 2 tiles, you can go like this, and it'll just you don't have to click very much or like do very much to set them. So the next thing in the movement system would be walking. So when you're walking, you only move 1 tile a tick. So if you wanted to set kids here, you'd go like this, right? 1 tile a tick. And the reason that knowing how many like tiles walking and running take per tick is important is because if somebody comes up the staircase or something like this and they want to go grab your flag, right? If you want to put these cades here and here to block them off, if you are an odd number of squares away from where you click, you'll run the first 2 tiles and you'll walk the last tile, or you'll run the first however many tiles and you'll walk the last tile. So I can just click here and then spam click my inventory and it'll cade like this and block him off. But um, that works even from like any odd number of tiles away. So like this would be this is the wrong number of tiles away from for that, right? So this is 3 tiles away. This right here, this 3 tiles away. This is 5 tiles away. It'll do the same thing. This is 7 tiles away, and I'll show you just to show you exactly like how the cades go as you're running. I can show you like this, right? And once you get used to how cades set like that, it will help you a lot when you're playing. Next basic thing is to talk about with movement is sliding. So when you have barricades lined up like this, you can slide east and west along the barricades as long as nothing blocks your path. So like if there's a cade here, obviously I can't slide through the barricade, right? But yeah, but that's the general idea. You can slide east and west without backing up. Now, if you have cades like this, you can't slide north and south. So if I click this, I'll never be able to hit it, right? I have to walk back like this to hit it, or I have to walk over like this and hit it. So I have to like walk over and tend it. So it's harder. As you can see, it's harder to do that at the proper speed. Whereas like if you want to light these all on fire, you can just go like this, right? Now you can. Okay. So now would be like to show you the movement in practice, like how you'd use it to set a spawn or something really quickly. So I marked the tiles that I'm going to click, and I'm going to click to this tile first and then spam click. So I click here, I go like this, right? And as you can see, I ran two tiles in one tick, set one here, ran two tiles, set one here, and then walked the last tile and set one here. Then I can click here, set this, then I can click to walk here to get out of the way of this cade. And then I can click here and I'll run to the first tile and walk to the last tile, and I can just go like this. Then I can click here, and then because of the way four-way cades work, which I'll talk about in a later video, I can just click here and go like this. And that sets the spawn extremely fast if you do it really fast without being slow and explain.